When I was 19, I had this dream of doing a theater tour where, like, as much as I love stand-up, the thing I love about stand-up is that it could fail. Like, I like doing jokes that, like, that's the fun of it, is when you're writing new jokes, right? So you're writing new stuff, you're testing it out, and the only way to tell if something's actually funny is if you say it and the audience laughs. Like, that's the only way to tell. And so I like whenever I tell a new joke and it doesn't hit, and I go, oh, okay, all right. So I got to, like, try to rework that, right? So then I started thinking of different ways to kind of include the audience in different angles. And one of them was I was going to do a tour called Dating with Jaron. And I was going to do a whole dinner date night where I walk in on stage and I've got a table and I'm just facing the audience, and the audience is my date. So I was going to do a show where I'm just out there and I'm getting to know the audience and, you know, talking with them, asking them random questions and stuff. I was going to have and then I was like, maybe I could have a server come out, you know, and
wait, you had a server come out?
Well, I haven't done this. This was like in my head,
yeah.
like the dream of like doing a theater tour. And I was like, okay, then I can have a server come out and maybe he and I can like work out some like kind of skit type things. What if that girl didn't know that we were going to do that? And so that's how the blind date was born, was what if I just went on a date in front of an audience, but what if we didn't tell the girl I was going to do that? So
you got to have the right person.
Well, you do.
The right
yeah.
girl
Which, so we had a plan. So we went to this small theater. I didn't want to do a massive kind of room. It's only 50 people. And so, you know, we put the dinner tables there at the beginning of the show. And I told the audience the show starts at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And so a couple days before, I messaged this girl I'd never met before on Facebook. I really did, like, I just friend requested cute girls in my college town because I was just like, you know, we got mutual friends and, you know, because I'm funny on the internet. This was 2014, 2015 that I actually became friends with the girl, like Reagan, who came to the date in 2014. In 2014, when I'm a college student, we didn't know the internet was this dangerous. You know, so we were just accepting friend requests as just kind of whatever. So anyway, she accepted my friend request. So we're friends on Facebook for several years. And then in 2018, I messaged her on Facebook and I said, hey, I'm going to this comedy show. I'm supposed to have a date. Do you want to go with me? And then she's like, sure. So
makes sense.
Right. Well, I think her roommate was like a mutual friend of mine. Like her roommate had done comedy.
So
she asked her roommate, she was like, hey, is this guy creepy? And her roommate was like, no, he's fine. And so that was, you know, it was all right. We actually found out that I had done a podcast interview at her apartment before because I had done a podcast like interview with her roommate at their apartment. Okay. And so before I ever knew this girl. Anyway, so she walks to the venue. So she meets me there. I told her it started at 7:30. So the audience got there early. Right, they get there at 7. Mm-hmm. I tell her it starts at 7:30. At 7 o'clock, the show starts. I go out to the audience and I explain because they didn't know either. They bought tickets to just a normal comedy show.
Oh, so they thought
they were just going to watch me do stand up, and then I walk out to the audience and I was like, "Listen, that's not what's going to happen." So,
and I wonder, like, their thoughts. Like, did they have a reaction to that?
Oh yeah, it was super awkward. Some people were like, oh no!
They're like, what? What's happening?
So I went out and I said,
"Your family's in the audience."
My parents, my grandma, my brother. Yeah.
Good Lord.
So and a bunch of my friends, and some people knew what was going to happen. Like my parents, obviously, I told them beforehand, and my friends and stuff. But I just told the audience, I said, "Listen, my date's going to arrive in about 20 minutes, and we're going to get to know Reagan." And the reason I say we is because I have also never met Reagan.
And your parents were in full support of that? Like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a show. Like, it's not, in my head, it wasn't a date. It wasn't like a real.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because it's a show. You know, we're going to do a thing. It's an experimental thing. And I had someone waiting in the. So I'll walk you through the thing. When people came in the audience, we put an X on half of their hands. Okay. And then I said, if you have an X on your hand, you need to go back to the lobby. Because I'm going to meet Reagan outside, and we're going to stand in line and buy tickets to this show. So, because then if everyone's already in there, they were the last ones to get in, whatever. You know, so we are walking into, we're in line, and they're just rechecking. They're like handing their tickets over and rechecking in, getting sat in the seats they were already in. There's 2 seats in the front row. We walk in. We're not even the last ones to walk in. I planned that too for 2 other couples to walk in behind us. So we're not just sitting down and all of a sudden it's like, well, now I'm glad these 2 were here.
So you had a little bit of time to introduce yourself.
I was
say
like
a couple things.
Well, so like we're sitting there and I was like, have you been to a show here before and stuff? So then I had to get her mic'd up. I had to get us with microphones because I knew we were going to be on stage. So the host of the show comes out and you can obviously see the cameras. It's kind of like these.
Yeah.
Like you can see them. They're not hidden. And so the host of the show comes out and was like, hey, you're going to see a stand-up show tonight. By the way, we're recording this. So we want to get some good audio. So, make sure your phone's on silent. Don't go to the bathroom in the middle of someone's set, obviously. And also, we want to get a few audience laughter individuals to mix into the audio to give it a full sound. Are there any volunteers who'd be willing to wear a microphone? And I had 2 other people raise their hands. And then I was like, oh, we will. And so
and her thought is,
and she's like, the host is explaining it. So her thoughts was like, okay. She's not thinking anything different about putting a microphone on. So then 2 techs come over and put microphones on. And I also had 2 techs go to the other people who raised their hands so that she's not suspicious. Because now there's a couple people in the audience wearing mics, So she has no idea.
Oh, my goodness.
And so then I had 2 of my friends do stand-up. So he said, hey, welcome Tom Gray. And Tom comes out and does 5 minutes of stand-up. And then Tom went off. And then he said, hey, welcome Nick Nichols. And Nick walks out and does stand-up. And I was like, oh, that's my friend, And then the host comes out afterward and is like, all right, are you guys ready to see your headliner tonight? Would you welcome Jaron Myers?
Wait, who does she think the headliner is? Does she know?
No.
You just
she just thought we were going to a comedy show. So she didn't know.
She didn't even ask.
I told her my friend was on the show, which was the second one. And I was like, oh, that's my friend.
So she wasn't like, is this Jim Gaffigan?
She wasn't any. No. She wasn't. Because it's like a small. She just thought it was a local Springfield show.
Yeah.
So, and the dinner table is just on stage the whole time. Like my friends are just performing in front of it. And so it's just sitting there. And so I get up and I do 7 minutes of stand up, which is the right amount of time because the audience knows that I'm about to pull her up there. She's got no idea. So I'm doing stand up and the audience is like, come on, dude, like pull her up there already. Mm-hmm. But she's sitting there. I wanted to get the right amount of tension because the audience, I can feel them getting a little more tense where they're like, because they're laughing at the jokes, but they're kind of like, ha, 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 just go on with the show. We want to see what happens.
It's like when your friend's going to propose and you're
like, and they're just kind of like,
we just want to see the ring.
Right. But she has no idea that's about to happen. So I wanted to give her the amount of time for her to sit there and go, ha, 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 ha. And then in her head, she's like, did he invite me to his own show? Like, this guy invited me to his own comedy show. Like, I wanted it to be just long enough. And then when I felt the tension was right is when I was like, I'm on a date right now. And then I said, Reagan, would you like to join me on stage for dinner?
Okay, but in that moment,
right,
you're asking Reagan up onto the stage, and that's the first time where she's not just sitting being a bystander to everything that's happening. And so now there's this moment where what if she just says, nope?
Right.
Or she runs out.
So one of my friends was in the lobby.
What was his name?
With flowers. My friend Lauren.
Okay.
She was in the lobby.
Oh, okay.
With flowers.
Okay.
Waiting in case because I didn't know anything about this girl.
Okay.
The only thing I knew was that we were friends on Facebook. That is it. And
so Lauren's waiting for her.
Oh, here's a detail I forgot to tell you. I sent that message to 21 girls. So I didn't choose Reagan.
Okay.
I messaged.
But if Reagan's listening, it was just her.
No, she knows. Let me tell you, she knows. Okay, so
she probably lets you hear it.
No, okay. So I sent a copy paste message to every girl I knew I had never met on Facebook, and like I told you, I was a thirsty kid, so I just friend requested these girls, right?
Yep.
So I send, hey, I know that we don't know each other. I'm just supposed to go to a comedy show with a date on Monday. Would you want to go with me? And I just copy paste to 20-something girls. Reagan was the first person to respond. Out of whatever 20-something, right? Several of them responded. A lot of them just didn't.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious how many girls are responding to this random Facebook
I think
friend.
I got...
I mean, for anybody listening...
I got like 6 or 7 responses. No, I sent a follow-up message the next day. I said, hey, I was just doing this show. I hope that, sorry, because I also understand from a girl's perspective, Like, it is awkward to get a DM or whatever.
Right.
But I definitely have a reputation around Springfield now. And I know because Reagan was in college at the time, and 3 days after the date, she was in class, and one of my Facebook ads had popped up on another girl's Facebook. Mm-hmm. And she shows her friend, she goes, this guy messaged me and asked me on a date this weekend. And 3 other girls in the class said, me too. And Reagan, sitting there, knowing why, went, oh my gosh, me too. Didn't tell him. Was just like, oh my gosh, what a sleazy guy. Like, I had just messaged all these girls. Anyway, so she was just I knew nothing about her. I didn't know, I just knew we were friends on Facebook, and I messaged her. So she could have left when I said, would you like to join me for dinner? So we had someone with flowers in the lobby. If she had run out, then they would have handed the flowers. I would have obviously followed and been like, hey, listen, we weren't trying to make fun of you. I just wanted to do an experiment. Here are some flowers. I had like a Starbucks gift card in there as well of like, feel free to leave. Totally. I gave her the flowers at the end of the night. But she didn't. She sat down at dinner. And the host of the show, the guy that was out there like, guys, we're recording, and would you welcome your headliner? He was the waiter. So he comes back with an apron on later. And so that's why he walks out and the audience is like, oh, okay, all right, So it was fun. We ate the whole dinner in front of everybody, and then
and now is Reagan
and now
life?
3 years later we're still going on dates, so it worked out.
That's amazing.
Hey y'all, we hope you loved this conversation. Here at Young Married Christian, we are on a mission to see a gospel-centered home made available for every single child in the foster care system. There are 400,000 kids in the foster care system, and there are 400,000 churches in America. Wow. That is crazy. This is absolutely a solvable problem, and we want to be a part of it. If you want to join us in that mission, text the word freedom to 833-370-1610.
833-370-1610. 833-370-1610.
I just did it.
And another thing you can do that is really helpful is to smash the like button on this video.
Smash it like Satan's face. Crush it like it's Lucifer's head.
It really helps us a ton, so smash that like button, subscribe to this channel.
That's it.
Smash the like button on this video.